All right, boys, this is the diet that I follow right now that gets me energy the entire day. I don't have crashes. I pretty much stay the exact same amount of energy the entire day. Doesn't really even peak when I work out because I just eat carbs and sugars on my workout. That gives me like a short burst of energy, but overall the entire day I don't really have drops of energy except for after a really intense workout, after cardio, all that stuff. I'm gonna obviously be a little bit tired, but this diet doesn't make me lethargic. It doesn't make me do anything, and it's because it's 90% whole foods, 10% whatever I want. I have the ability to eat whatever I want once, twice a week, but I usually don't do it because the whole foods that make me feel good, the eggs, the beef, the steak, all this stuff, the salmon, it keeps my testosterone high. Okay, it makes me actually feel good. It gives me energy. I make sure that I have tons of energy the entire day and I can actually get stuff done and not feel lazy and do nothing. All right, the diet itself, you're gonna have to track calories, okay? You're gonna have to track calories manually in the first place, so you learn, how much rice is whatever calories, how much potatoes is whatever calories, how much beef, steak, eggs, chicken is whatever calories. Because if you don't know, you're gonna overeat. You can absolutely overeat on whole foods and gain weight. It's very possible. It's more difficult than processed food, right? Like if I was eating straight processed food the entire day, 7K calories every single day, that is what I would do, and that is what I've done in the past, okay? I can't do that. With Whole Foods, it's really hard to go past like 4, 5, 6K calories without feeling insanely full. And if you don't track your calories, you can still go over your calories a little bit every single day, but that will compound over time. You need to learn how much calories you are actually eating, and that starts off by tracking calories. Right now, I don't really track my calories that much. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really track my calories that often, and I don't really need to because I just know how many calories everything is. And normally, after the end of my meals, I don't weigh it out. I just write down what I think it is, and I track it, and then it's all good. I normally eat whole foods with plenty of healthy fats like fatty fish, fatty steak, fatty meats, eggs, avocados, Brazil nuts, pistachios, healthy oils like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil. I use butter. Okay, I use a ton of butter when I eat because I want the fats. Okay, I want the cholesterol. That's the precursor. That's the building block for testosterone. Okay, we want these things, and I eat 6 eggs at least every single day. Okay, if you guys aren't eating your eggs, you guys are missing out. Okay, eggs are literally a superfood. Okay, every single time that I miss a day where I don't have at least 6 eggs, I feel worse. Okay, I genuinely feel worse, and it's simply because a lot of people don't eat healthy ever, and they don't really know what it means to have real energy, to actually be able to move around and have true energy, real testosterone throughout the entire day. And once you stop eating healthy, you'll notice the difference pretty much immediately. Like if I was to eat unhealthy food for a week straight, I'd notice it immediately because it's such a drastic difference from eating healthy all the time because you feel the feeling you get eating good healthy food. You feel energetic, you feel like doing work, you don't feel lethargic, you don't feel like lying down most of the time. You feel like just getting up and doing stuff. This is my current diet, okay? Strip loin steak, sirloin steak, ground beef, ground bison, chicken, eggs, salmon, 1 to 2 times a week, mixed fruit, banana, raw honey, maple syrup, sweet potato, potatoes, rice, avocados. I mostly eat these things, and most of the time, I don't even want to eat out. Like, I'll still get my cravings. I'll still want to eat pizza. I'll still want to eat pasta. I still want ice cream. I still want gelato. I still want these things. But the trade-off for feeling slightly worse and, just having a dopamine spike real quick, especially if I'm not eating out, if I'm not eating out with my family, if I'm not eating out with my friends, it's such a small piece of dopamine, and it really just comes down to you pushing yourself mentally. It's about really mental discipline and determination. Do you really want it bad enough? And that is a small little practice you can do. Is just like be disciplined enough to not eat the dopamine heavy foods that are created to be too flavorful. They're overly processed. They're your palate. It's not it's designed to be overstimulating for your palate and be addictive. If you eat these foods just like laying around, lounging, just chilling at home, not outside, not socializing with your friends, not like doubling up your dopamine and like actually doing stuff and connecting with people, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You're lowering your own perceived value. You're breaking your own trust. You told your mind you're not going to eat this food unless you're going out to eat, and you're breaking your mind's trust. And also, you need to understand you're building discipline while following a diet. At the end of the day, it's still a discipline. It's going to be difficult if you break that discipline because you kind of felt like having a cookie at home. You're setting yourself for failure because that discipline is applied to your training, to your work, to your sleep, everything else. It's still difficult. Don't get me wrong, but once you think about it in a way where you're trying to feel good and perform well and seeing food as fuel, whole foods still taste good. They're just not designed to be overly flavorful. They still taste absolutely amazing. Just a little bit of sea salt, pepper, pink Himalayan salt. That's all you require on ground beef, on eggs, on potatoes. Like these foods, they're good, they're tasty. You need to learn to view this as a discipline, view it as fuel, and only eat out, going out socializing. Then you can have whatever you want. And normally you still want to stick to your whole foods diet because they make you feel good. When you eat out, you can ask your waiter what do they cook their meat in, or you can ask for, no fries or whatever. Like you can adjust your meal and just choose the healthier option. Like I'll still have my burger, I'll still have my pizza, but most of the time if I'm eating out, I'll choose steak. I'll choose a poke bowl, even though poke bowls aren't the best. I'll have these things that still have protein, still have carbs. They're not absolutely horrible for you, but every now and then, I'll still eat a burger. I'll still have pizza, I'll still have pasta, lasagna, this stuff. But it's very very rare that I have those things nowadays, unless we go on vacation. Now, on vacation and holiday, you have to keep your priorities straight, okay? You're gonna need to hit your 10K steps. You're gonna have to eat your maintenance calories. You cannot be overeating insanely. You can still eat till you're full and all that stuff, especially if you're getting your 10K steps. It's so easy for you to actually lose weight on vacation and eat whatever you want if you follow simple rules. You make sure you get your protein and you make sure you get your step count. You you actually eat protein early in the morning, your fats early in the morning. You get your hormones right, you sleep properly. You don't absolutely ruin your discipline and your diet when you're on vacation. Okay, your vacation is not an excuse to go absolutely insane and eat whatever you want. Okay, you don't need to overeat your favorite food, natural cuisine. I still have the foods that I love. I just don't go absolutely insane, okay? Most of the time on vacation, if I'm sightseeing, if I'm actually going out and actually being on vacation and doing stuff, I lose weight without even trying. I hit like 20, 30K steps. I I eat my protein, okay? But then I go out, I have pasta, I have pizza, I have ice cream, I have dessert, I have all this food, I have paella, all this stuff. And I still lose weight because I get my steps in. I make sure I get my protein in. I make sure I actually follow certain rules and regulations. It's really, really simple and easy to lose weight, or at least keep your progress and keep your physique during vacation. That's the whole thing about it, okay? You want to enjoy your life. You want to keep a physique that it's sustainable, okay? You want to keep a diet that's sustainable. You want to enjoy your physique. You don't want to lose your physique. You want to keep your physique. And that's only through a sustainable and long-term plan when it comes to dieting, when it comes to lifestyle training, all this stuff, okay? You don't need to overeat and just binge and binge and binge on holiday, okay? Enjoy your holiday. Don't go crazy. No gluttony, okay? Just because you dieted to look good for a few weeks doesn't mean you need to destroy your hard work. Doesn't mean you need to lose your physique. You can keep your physique absolutely and still enjoy, still go out, still drink, still eat good food as long as you follow certain rules and regulations. Okay, I've done it multiple times, and you don't need to starve yourself from these things in order to just keep your physique. Okay, I don't drink for the discipline. I don't drink because I don't need to go outside and party and all this stuff. I believe you need to have phases in your life where you don't drink and you completely lock in, and you don't need alcohol to have fun. You don't need all these substances to have fun, okay? I go out with my friends all the time. They're smoking, they're drinking. I'm usually the sober one. I'll still smoke. I'll still drink every now and then, okay? But you go out with your family. You go on a holiday with your friends. You go on a trip with your friends. You go to a nice dinner, tourist attraction, socialize, play sports, live life. You do the stuff. You build your physique to actually enjoy life, not to just have a physique. Okay? The only way you're gonna be able to enjoy it and actually sustain it is through a sustainable diet, and that's through having real options. That's what the 90-10 split works for me. I can lock in and go 100% whole foods if I really want to, or lean back and go back to 90-10 and have one or two cheat meals a week. That's really fine with me. But you need to prioritize your health and you need to prioritize your hormones. And if that means no more alcohol, that means no more alcohol. Okay, if that means a certain phase where you're not eating cheat meals, that means no eating cheat meals. Okay, if you really want to focus on your physique, you focus on your physique, you focus on your health. It all depends on what your goals are and where you are in your life. But the 9-10 split is just the base. That's just the absolute minimum that you need to actually develop a real physique. If you go below 90, 10, 80, 20, you're not dieting. You're really not. You're eating good healthy food sometimes, and then every now and then you're snacking and you're eating some pizza, some pasta, some bread, whatever, right? Like you're not taking it serious. But on the 90-10 split, the bare minimum, you're actually building a proper physique. You're actually creating the discipline that you can transfer onto your sleep, your training, your work, your social life, all this stuff. And guys, you want to build a physique so you can actually speak to the girls, okay? Like, if we're being real here, I built my physique so then I can actually speak to girls easier, okay? I wanted the respect, I want all this stuff. And if you're not going to be disciplined enough to eat properly, you're never going to get the physique. Okay, you can build some muscle, sure, but you're never going to actually shred and look good, boys, okay? So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is exactly how I eat most of the time. Whole foods most of the time. If I want, I have some pasta. I have some pizza. Usually not, because I want to focus on my hormones. I want to focus on my testosterone. I want to focus on having energy and actually getting work done.